Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about Brandon and Michaela Keilen, who are finally opening up after months of major changes in their lives. The couple is revealing why they still can't show their foster boys, sharing the emotional reality of becoming parents, addressing future adoption plans, responding to questions about family members moving away and ongoing curiosity surrounding the Bates family, and giving fans a long-awaited update on Mama Jane's recovery. In this video, we'll break down their biggest revelations, the heartfelt moments that stood out the most, and why this new chapter has completely changed their perspective on family. Let's get into everything they shared. After months away from their usual sit-down updates, Brandon and Michaela Keilen finally found the time to answer the questions fans have been asking ever since their lives changed. With their two foster boys asleep upstairs, the couple sat down for a candid conversation that quickly became much more than a simple Q&A. Instead of offering brief responses, they shared the lessons, struggles, and emotional moments that have shaped their journey as foster parents over the past year. Along the way, they also addressed several topics that have fueled ongoing curiosity among Bates family followers, making this one of their most revealing and personal updates in quite some time. One of the biggest questions from viewers was finally addressed head-on. Why have Brandon and Michaela never shared photos of the boys they are raising? According to Michaela, the answer is actually very simple. The first reason is we aren't legally allowed to. She explained that every foster care case comes with its own rules, and those rules can vary depending on the state, county, and circumstances involved. In their case, sharing photos of the boys simply is not an option. Michaela also admitted that even if God eventually allows them to adopt, they still have not decided how much of their children's lives they would want to share publicly. For them, protecting the children will always come before satisfying public curiosity. As it turns out, protecting their privacy is only a small part of their story. Brandon admitted that becoming a foster parent has been far more challenging than he ever imagined. He confessed that he originally believed children with traumatic backgrounds would reveal all of their struggles right away. Instead, therapists helped him understand something completely different. They have to feel a sense of safety before that happens, he explained. That realization completely changed how he viewed the boys' behavior. Rather than seeing improvement month after month, Brandon said some of the biggest emotional challenges actually surfaced 6 to 7 months after the children arrived. Isn't that the opposite of what most people would expect? According to Brandon, healing often begins only after a child finally feels safe enough to let their walls come down. That new understanding forced Brandon and Michaela to approach everyday parenting differently. They quickly realized that not every emotional outburst came from typical childhood behavior. Sometimes the boys were simply acting like little kids, but other times old memories and past trauma would suddenly resurface in ways they could never predict. Brandon admitted there were many moments when he simply did not know what to do. "God, please help us. Give us wisdom," became one of the prayers he found himself repeating over and over again. He said there is no handbook for situations like these. Every day presents a new challenge, and every reaction requires patience, discernment, and grace. More than anything, they have learned that showing consistent love often matters far more than having the perfect answer. One of the most touching moments they shared involved a surprisingly simple way of calming emotional meltdowns. Brandon recalled that instead of responding with frustration, Michaela would sometimes wrap the little boy in a hug right in the middle of his anger. The response completely caught him off guard. What looked like another emotional explosion suddenly faded away. Brandon summed it up in one sentence that perfectly captured the moment. "It totally reroutes the whole thing." For him, that unexpected hug interrupted the cycle of anger and replaced it with reassurance. Experiences like that have convinced both of them that love often speaks louder than correction, especially for children carrying emotional wounds that cannot always be seen. Despite the challenges, Brandon also shared one of the sweetest moments of his entire parenting journey. He admitted he froze the first time the older boy called him Daddy. At first, he assumed foster children were not supposed to use those titles. After reaching out to DCS, however, they received a very different answer. The agency encouraged them to let the child take the lead because having someone to call mommy or daddy could provide an important sense of security. "Let him go ahead and take the lead on that," Brandon recalled. Today, coming home from work to hear little voices shouting daddy has become one of the highlights of his day. "It's just heart-melting," he said. For Brandon, those simple moments make every difficult day worthwhile. Michael shared a favorite moment of her own, and it had nothing to do with milestones or accomplishments. Instead, she said watching the boys develop a genuine brotherly bond has become one of the greatest joys of her life. She described how the younger child wakes up from his nap dragging his blanket around the house looking for his older brother. Meanwhile, the older boy can make his little brother burst into laughter with almost no effort at all. Michael said seeing that relationship grow naturally has been incredibly rewarding. She never imagined that something so simple could become one of the happiest parts of their everyday routine. After everything the boys have experienced, watching them find comfort and joy in each other makes every challenge feel meaningful. The older boy's progress has also been remarkable. Even though he is only about 4.5 years old and has not officially started school, Michael has already been teaching him phonics, reading, writing, basic math, counting to 100, and even recognizing money. Brandon could not hide how proud he was of both his wife and their little student. "He learned so quickly," he said with a smile. At the same time, he admitted keeping a 4-year-old focused is no small task. Michael explained that her biggest goal is not simply to help him get ahead academically. More importantly, she wants him to develop a genuine love for learning before school becomes mandatory. While much of the conversation focused on foster parenting, fans were also curious about the rest of the Bates family. Several relatives have recently moved to Florida and Texas, leaving many wondering how Brandon and Michael feel about the growing distance. Michael admitted that saying goodbye is never easy, but she refuses to see those moves as a loss. Instead, she remembers when she and Brandon spent the early years of their marriage living far away from both of their families. During that season, they were constantly encouraged to follow where they believed God was leading them. Now, she wants to offer that same support to her siblings and in-laws as they begin new chapters of their own lives. That naturally led to another interesting question about handling family conflict. Michael acknowledged that disagreements are simply part of life, especially in large families. Even so, she believes love and forgiveness should always come first. Brandon offered what may have been one of the most memorable lines from the entire video. "Am I part of the problem or part of the solution?" he asked. Before stepping into someone else's conflict, he believes people should first pray and honestly examine their own role in the situation. It is a simple question, but it carries a powerful challenge. How often do people rush to fix someone else's problem without first considering whether they might actually make things worse? Even after discussing family life, Brandon and Michael made it clear that their primary focus remains the 2 boys currently in their care. Naturally, viewers wanted to know if they hope to foster or adopt more children in the future. Their answer was an easy yes, but it came with an important reminder. "We love kids so very much," Michael said. Still, she explained that every foster child arrives with unique needs, different medical situations, and different levels of care. Because of that, they are intentionally pouring all of their time, energy, and attention into the children already in their home before making any future decisions. Michael also shared one piece of advice for anyone considering foster care. "Document everything," she said. From milestones to difficult days, she believes keeping detailed records has been one of the most valuable habits they have developed. As the video came to a close, Brandon and Michael finally shared the update many Bates family followers had been waiting for. They recently visited Mama Jane with the boys after completing the necessary travel approvals required for their foster care case. The trip turned into a special family getaway filled with time outdoors, a kiddie pool, fresh fruit from the farm, and quiet conversations on the porch. Most importantly, they revealed that Mama Jane is doing much better following her stroke. Brandon admitted there was a time when the family genuinely did not know if she would recover. Today, however, she is talking, sharing memories, enjoying time with loved ones, and continuing to make encouraging progress. They also revealed that they still talk with her on the phone almost every day. After an emotional conversation filled with challenges, hope, and heartfelt moments, that encouraging update gave fans exactly the ending they had been hoping for. So, what do you think about Brandon and Michaela Keilen's latest update? Which part of their Q&A stood out to you the most? Were you touched by their honest journey through foster parenting, their thoughts on the Bates family's recent changes, their future adoption plans, or the wonderful news about Mama Jane's recovery? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below because we'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Bates family news and updates. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.